Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Hello, teacher. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
Hello,
Fine.
teacher.
Hello,
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 teacher.
everybody. How are you? How are you?
Fine, thank you. And you?
Fine, and you?
I'm fine, thanks. Did you have a nice morning?
Oof,
I
no.
was so tired.
A little bit tired?
Sí.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I thought I was going to have a lot of free time during the quarantine, but no, no, I've been more busy than ever. And probably you have been very busy with everything about the university as well, right?
Right.
How was your morning, teacher?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, good. Let me see. How many of you do we have here today?
Thank you.
Okay, good. I was just checking how many of you are here today. Let's see. Okay, so tell me, out of the people who are here right now, who didn't introduce themselves yesterday? Who didn't? Yeah, you did. So let's continue. Let's continue a little bit with introductions so I can get to know you a little bit. So remember, tell me what's your name. If you want to, you can tell me what you study, but especially speak a little bit about yourselves. Tell me what you like, tell me what you do, for example, in your free time or if you work, anything like that, okay? So who would like to go? Anybody?
Me. My name is Mateo Negrete. I study Derecho. I like to do, I don't know, read comics, listen music. But one of my favorite things to do is collect some figures, and that's all.
Oh, nice, 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 nice. And what kind of comic books do you like? Like superhero comic books?
Yes, like some superhero comic books and I don't know how to say in English, like graphic novels.
Graphic novels, yeah, that's right. That is the term. Uh-huh. Nice, nice.
And like it's like Julio Verne to graphical novels, and it's very fun because I like too much his histories. It's very interesting the perspective of the world that he has.
Nice, nice, nice. I am a fan of comic books and graphic novels as well. So
Yes,
nice. Yes, that's right. So, and the figures that you collect, are they based on comic books?
yes, like I have. Uh, the most of them are like I don't know. I have Wolverines. I have Captain America. I have Batman of '80s TV show.
All right.
That's my
Nice,
that's
nice.
my
So,
my
so
hobby.
some Marvel and DC comics there.
Yes,
Good, nice, nice. Oh yeah, I see Batman on the back there.
yes.
Right. Very. And sorry, would you tell me your name again?
Mateo Negrete.
Mateo. Nice to meet you, Mateo. Well, we've talked via WhatsApp and everything, but it's different face to face.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. And you study law, right?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
I'm
Good.
studying
Thank
law.
you. Thank you, Mateo. Anybody else? Anybody else who can introduce themselves to the class a little bit? This is if this was an actual class, I would be looking at you and I would signal you or something like that. But here it is a little bit more difficult, right? Does anybody else want to participate? Would you like to introduce yourselves? Somebody who didn't do it yesterday.
Teacher, yeah,
Yes.
I can just speak. Hello, everyone. My name is Jaime Panata. I'm from Cuenca. I study systems engineering. My hobbies are playing video games, reading about the new development of technologies, of new technology. I'm
Nice.
playing sports.
I'm sorry, you're playing what?
I'm playing some sports.
Oh, nice. Like what sports do you practice? Do you usually practice?
the sports that I like are fine tennis, soccer, and also camping a lot.
Oh, nice, 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 nice. Good. And but nowadays, I assume you're mostly playing video games because it's kind of hard to do sports at home, right?
Just I like to the video games like the most or computer games.
Hmm.
My favorite game is League of Legends.
Oh,
It's a
nice.
game. Es un juego. It game card. It is a strategy.
Mm-hmm. A strategy game. Yeah, I've seen it. I haven't played it. I haven't played it, but I've seen. Well, I haven't played video games for a long time, but I like video games, or I used to like video games.
Yes.
Yes, nice, nice. League of Legends. Yeah, I think it looks very interesting. Uh-huh. Nice.
Okay.
I used to play a game called Age of Empires that was kind of similar. Kind of similar.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Okay, very good. Nice to meet you, Ismael. Ismael or Jaime, what do you prefer?
Jaime.
Okay, Jaime. Good, 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 good. Very good. Anybody else? Anybody else who didn't introduce themselves yesterday?
A los dos.
Can I talk?
Sure.
I am Katrina Ucancela. I study marketing. I am from Galapagos Island.
Mm.
I love to travel. I hate cooking, but now I have to learn new dishes for YouTube.
Nice. Yeah, good, good. So you were born in the Galapagos Islands.
Yeah,
Nice. What island? What island were you born in?
in San Cristobal Island.
Okay, nice. The biggest, right? No, I'm sorry, not the biggest,
no,
the second biggest.
Isabela is the biggest.
Yeah, you're right, you're right. Okay, nice, nice. And when did you come to Cuenca?
Around 5 years ago.
Uh-huh, I see. To study here or for some other reason?
For the study.
I see, nice. So did you graduate from high school in Galapagos or did you finish high school in Cuenca?
I finished high school in Cuenca.
I see. What high school did you go to?
La Salle College.
Okay, good. Nice, nice, very good. And your name is Katrina?
Yeah,
Okay, nice to meet you, Katrina. That was very nice. And you told me you like traveling a lot, right?
yeah.
Good,
Yes.
good. And what places have you visited?
I like to travel to a small town.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite place, I don't know, Quilotoa Lagoon.
Oh, nice.
I like.
Mm-hmm. Nice, nice. Okay, that's very interesting, Katrina. All right, nice. Nice to meet you, Katrina, then. Good. Thank you very much. All right, good. Anybody else?
Oh, hello.
Hello. Eric,
Hello,
right?
my name is yes. My name is Eric Isaac Pacheco Espinosa. I am from Portobelo. I am 22 years old. I study economy. I love play video games. Rock Latin.
All right, you like Latin rock. What are some of your favorite bands?
Nanitos Verdes.
Oh, nice. So, and is your favorite song Lamento Boliviano, or do you prefer other songs?
Oh, the song. My favorite song is Amores Lejanos.
Oh, okay, nice,
Yeah.
nice, good, good. And what kind of video games do you like to play?
Sports. My favorite video game is FIFA.
Okay, nice.
I
So you're
like play online.
nice, nice. So you like soccer?
Yes.
Okay, good. Do you know in America?
Cowboys
Yesterday,
in class.
sorry. I was saying in American English we call it soccer, but in British English, because yesterday we were talking about somebody asked if we were going to be studying American English or British English. It's mostly going to be American English, but just a few differences are interesting. That's what I was going to explain today, right? Some interesting differences on American and British English are some terms. So for example, in American English, we call it soccer. But in British English, we call it football, right? So if you say soccer to a guy from England, they're gonna get angry. They're gonna get mad. So yeah, that's right. So if you're speaking American English, soccer. If you're speaking British English, football. But if you say football in American English, you're referring to American football, right? So that is the thing. That is the thing. Okay, good, nice. Thank you very much, Eric. Oh, you were. What other bands do you like, Eric, besides Enanitos Verdes?
Can you repeat?
Yeah, sure. Besides Enanitos Verdes, what other bands do you like?
Hombres G.
Okay, good. I remember they were very popular when I was little. So before you were born, they were very popular. Yeah, I remember the songs. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, good. And what name do you prefer, Eric or Isaac?
Eric.
Okay, nice to meet you, Eric. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Somebody else?
Teacher, can I talk?
Sure.
Yeah. My name is Daniela. I study clinical psychology. I am 18 years old. In my free time, I like to spend my time with my friends, but now I spend my time with my family.
Sure.
I don't like read.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many people are there in your family?
Can you repeat me, please?
Sure. How many family members are in your house right now? How many family members are living with you?
6.
Oh, that's a big family.
Yes, I have 2 brothers and 1 sister.
I see, I see. And your parents, right?
Yes.
Okay, nice. And do you like listening to music? So. I see, I see. So you usually like to spend time chatting with your friends, talking with your friends, right?
Yes.
Nice, nice. And are you from Cuenca, Daniela, or from other place?
Yes, I'm from Cuenca.
Okay, thank you very much, Daniela. And you're studying clinical psychology?
Yes.
Okay, good, good. And why do you like psychology? What is it about psychology that you like?
Because I like to help people to solve their problems.
All right, nice, nice. Thank you very much. Thank you, Daniela. That was very good. Thank you. All right. Anybody else? Let me see who is here. I can still see you. Okay, who hasn't spoken? Melanie, are you there?
Yes, teacher.
All right, Melanie, could you introduce yourselves to the class, please?
Okay. My name is Melanie Wambanya. I'm from Tuquito. I love to dance and sing. I study. Yeah.
All right, good. Can you repeat what you study because it got cut?
Production engineering.
Okay, nice, nice, interesting. And so you like to dance and you like to sing. What kind of music do you like to sing?
All music.
All right, good. And do you have a favorite singer, a favorite artist?
Melendi. The song of Melendi is. I love that song.
All right, good. And do you like going to karaoke bars?
So.
Okay, good. And what kind of music do you like to dance?
Salsa. Bachatas.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, good, good. Thank you, Melanie. I remember you, Melanie, from a few courses back, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Melanie. All right, good. Anybody else? Let's do one more person for today, okay? Let's do one more for today. Anybody else who would like to introduce themselves? Anybody else?
Can I speak, teacher?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, my name is Denitza Campoverde. I am from Cuenca. I study clinical psychology, and I am in the sixth cycle. I love the animals and special dogs and cats. I have a cat. Your name is Tom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Tom and Jerry.
Yes.
Nice, nice. So you love cats and dogs, basically, right?
Yes.
What do you prefer, cats or dogs?
Cats.
Okay, yeah, because you have a cat as well. And what other animals do you like?
Rabbit.
All right.
Rabbit. Dogs.
Okay, good, nice. I like rabbits, but on a plate. No, just kidding, just kidding. No, just kidding, just kidding. I'm just. They are very cute. Just kidding, just kidding. Thank you very much, Danita. And tell me, Danita, what do you like to do in your free time?
I watching the movies and series with my brother. Listen to music. In my free time, I am going to my friends.
Nice. And tell me, Denitza, what kind of music do you usually listen to?
I like it, the rock.
You like rock music? Nice. What are some of your favorite bands?
In Spanish and English. In English, I like it, the Nirvana.
All right, nice.
The Beatles, Guns N' Roses, and metal as Rammstein and the other bands.
Okay, nice, nice. That, listening to music in English is very, very good for learning more, right?
Yes.
So this is an advice that I can give everybody. And I'm gonna ask you this question. I'll ask you this question. I hear your English. I mean, I've heard some of the English that everybody has, and it's sounding pretty good. It's sounding pretty good. But let me ask you this question. When you see movies, when you watch series, do you see them in Spanish or do you see them in English? Honestly. Do you prefer to see them in English and not just for Denitza, but for everybody? Do you prefer to see them in English or in Spanish?
The two.
Sure. I like
Yes.
some series in English, like Sherlock Holmes from BBC. It's very funny because the accent of these characters is like, "Hi, Miss Hudson," and I like very much because they are so funny, and sometimes it's very funny listening the another accents from another countries talking in English.
That's right. Yeah. For example, the British accent for Sherlock Holmes, of course, it's interesting. And you also have accents from Ireland and everything, and it all sounds very different, right? Okay. And thank you very much, Denitza, and nice to meet you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, good. So yeah, it's pretty good practice to watch a lot of movies in English, to see lots of TV series in English. Sometimes you might feel that you are not really learning. I mean, a lot of people say, I saw a movie, but I didn't learn anything. But you do learn. I mean, it's like doing exercise, right? Like, for example, if I tell you right now to do 100 abdominals, si les digo que hagan 100 abdominales este momento, I tell you to do 100 abdominals, are you going to see a difference, between before and after 100 abdominals? Probably not, right? You're not going to see a difference in your body between, before and after doing 100 abdominals. But if you do that for 6 months, pero si hacemos eso 6 meses,
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So it's kind of like that with watching movies, watching TV series in English. If you do that a lot, you are learning without realizing. Están aprendiendo sin darse mucha cuenta, pero están captando cosas. Let me ask you a question. How did you learn Spanish?
Reading.
Only
Okay,
by
yeah,
talking.
that's
Only
part,
by
of
talking,
course.
because when we was kids, like we listen to our fathers, mom, and dad, but they will learning slowly, but we are learning. Like say, I don't know, some things that we didn't know because we were babies. So I think that we can learn only listening and probably learning writing and talking. That's it more simply to learn.
Yeah, that's right. That is true. That is true. Exactly. I mean, we've been listening to Spanish from the uterus, right? Hemos estado escuchando español desde el útero, ¿no es cierto? We've been listening to Spanish all that time, and yeah, and our mother wasn't telling us something like, verás, hijito, aquí va el adjetivo, aquí va el verbo, cosas por el estilo, ¿no es cierto? Right? So listening to a lot of English is definitely going to help you learn. So whenever you get the chance, probably you do it already. Many of you probably already do, but I do recommend you to, whenever you see a movie, for example, you go to multicines to see a movie, try to go to the one that is in Spanish with English, in English with Spanish subtitles, right? Try to do that whenever you can. Or you're watching a series or a movie, whatever, on Netflix, for example. Try to do that as well. Always prefer to see them in English, and you're definitely going to be learning a lot more, right? Now, tell me, who likes music in English? You can tell me honestly. It doesn't matter. Who likes music in English? If you don't, it's okay. But do you like music in English?
Yes.
Yes, you do?
Yes.
So probably many of you do, right? Probably many of you do. Now, here's a recommendation. Look up the lyrics, right? What is the meaning of lyrics?
Letra.
Yeah, that's right. Correct. So look up the lyrics of the songs that you like and try to memorize the lyrics a little bit. So then when you listen to a song, you sing it, and that is also going to help you improve your vocabulary for once. That's also going to help you remember more or improve your pronunciation. So there are a lot of advantages to listening to music in English, right? So a couple of advices there. Lots of movies, lots of TV series, lots of fun stuff, right? Muchas cosas divertidas, lots of music, but do it in English. And it's gonna help you learn a lot. Probably you already do, and probably you have already learned a lot thanks to those things, right? That is what is called passive learning. Es el aprendizaje pasivo que es importante. Active learning is more like what we do in class when I explain something and you're actively trying to understand things from a logical perspective. But passive learning is also very important. Exposure to the language, right? It would be ideal, you know, to have lots of people who speak English around us, and we would have to communicate in English. That's why people who go to other countries learn so much, because they have to. They are listening to English 24/7. We can't do that, but we can at least do those things, right? Listen and see lots of things that are in English, right? That is our recommendation. Now, yesterday, speaking about listening, yesterday I was telling you that I wanted to show you in these first classes, right? In these first classes, we're not using the book yet. Even before you have the book, we are going to start seeing the contents from the units from the book. I told you that I'm going to help you with that, with materials and everything. But before we get into that, just as a little introduction, I would like you to establish today some differences between American and British English. Because, you know, sometimes you are going to encounter British English, not just American English. Our course is mostly going to be focused on American English because that is like the most extended one. However, British English is also very common. So let me show you something. I want to show you a video. Let me see. if we can see it. Just a second there. I think the internet is working a little bit slow.
Okay.
All right, let me just find it because well, let me just load it. It is loading. But you know, in these days, internet is especially crucial, and sometimes when it's not working fine, that can be a little bit of a problem. But anyway. Okay. And let me know if you're here. All right, I'm just gonna, it's loading. The video is loading.
Muy lento.
Yeah, it's a little bit slow, but okay, let's skip the ads. I downloaded the video before, but for some reason it's not working, so I'm going into YouTube to show it, okay? Tell me if you...
Teacher, I can hear the
Oh, it
sound.
doesn't... All right, let me see what I can do. Let me see if I can share the audio. Okay.
Hello and welcome everyone, this is Minu at AngloLink. Today we're going to look at some differences in American English and British English pronunciation. In order to do that, I've teamed up with my American colleague, Rachel, who is going to introduce herself to you now.
I'm Rachel and I have a YouTube channel called Rachel's English. My channel focuses on American English pronunciation. There are videos that go over the specific mouth position for each sound, videos that focus on the rhythm of American English, linking, and videos that show you how to listen for the characteristics of American English.
So one of the ladies, the first lady there is British, right? The first lady has a British accent. The second lady has an American accent, okay? Now, yes, you are. Now, just a question before we continue with the video. A question. I'm going to ask you a question, okay? A very simple question. Try to answer it, okay? What's the meaning of car?
What?
Exactly. One more time. What's the meaning of car? Now, that is British English, okay? Now, I'm going to ask the same question in American English, okay? What's the meaning of car?
Oh, okay.
Okay? Did you get it? So, as you can see, it can be a little bit challenging, but keep that in mind, okay? Keep that in mind. So, first, before we continue with the video, I'm going to spoil it a little bit. Antes de continuar con el video, les voy a spoilear esa parte un poquito, ¿sí? One of the big differences between American English and British English is the pronunciation of the letter R when it is at the end of a word. So, Americans pronounce it you know that, right? Like, for example, car, But the British drop it. Do you know what is drop? This is to drop. For example, I'm going to grab this, I don't know. I'm going to take this candle and now I'll drop it. Okay? Drop, dejar caer. Okay? Drop, dejar caer algo. However, when you're speaking about languages, when you're speaking about pronunciation, if I say that people drop the R, that means they don't pronounce it. Okay? So, Americans always pronounce the R, but the British, when the R is at the end of a word, they don't pronounce it. Okay? Do you get it?
Yes.
So, for example, for an American, it is car, but for a British person, it is car. Okay? That's how it sounds. Here's my car.
I think that the British pronunciation it's slow too, right?
Well, sometimes it can be, it depends where, right? It depends where. Some people do sound perhaps a little bit slower, but it's not always the case. There are British speakers who also speak pretty quickly, right? But maybe there is a tendency, yeah. Maybe there is a slight tendency towards that, right? But that is one of the differences. Like, for example, I'm going to say a word in American English, and you try to say it in British English, okay? Do you get it?
Okay.
Okay? Let's say bar. Now say that in British English.
Like the bar.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. So if here, for example, I can say, I don't know, if I'm speaking in American English, here's a metal bar. Aquí hay una barra de metal. Here's a metal bar. But if I'm British, here's a metal bar. Here's a metal bar. All right? And that is another difference. That is another difference. Listen to this in, how do you say metal in English?
Metal.
Yes, metal, right? Like heavy metal, metal. But in British English, it's not metal, it's metal, metal. The T is always very, very marked in British English, okay? So R's and T's, those are two of the big differences between American English and British English, okay? Now, let's continue with that in mind, keep that in mind, and let's continue watching the video, okay?
Okay.
At AngloLink. Hello and welcome everyone, this is Menu at AngloLink. Today we're going to look at some differences in American English and British English pronunciation. In order to do that, I've teamed up with my American colleague, Rachel, who is going to introduce herself to you now.
I'm Rachel, and I have a YouTube channel called Rachel's English. My channel focuses on American English pronunciation. There are videos that go over the specific mouth position for each sound, videos that focus on the rhythm of American English, linking, and videos that show you how to listen for the characteristics of American English. There are over 250 videos with 2 added each week. I hope you'll check them out.
Thank you, Rachel. Okay, I will be focusing on the differences between consonants R and T, and also some very common words that are pronounced differently in American English and British English. Rachel will be focusing on the differences between some vowel sounds. Let's start with the letter R. When the letter R is in the initial position of a word or in the middle of a word, there isn't a huge difference between the way Americans or British people pronounce it. However, listen to me saying the following 4 words and then listen to Rachel saying them. Rain.
Rain.
Drain.
Drain.
Spring.
Spring.
Berry.
Berry.
Now, when the letter R is in the middle position.
All right, now, what she was saying there, what they were saying there, is that in the initial position, is there a difference between American English and British English when you pronounce the R in the initial position of a word?
Not much.
Not much, right? Not much. They are very similar. Like, for example, how do you say lluvia in English?
Rain.
Rain.
Rain. And if you're British, rain.
Rain.
Almost the same. Practically the same, right? It's the same. How do you say listo in English?
Ready.
Ready. And if you're British, ready.
Ready.
So the R,
Ready.
the R is the same thing, right? Oh, that is another thing. That is another thing. The intonation in general, before we continue with the R's, antes de continuar con las R's, the intonation of English is a little bit different between American English and British English. Let me show you something. Voy a hablar en español por un momento, ¿sí? Voy a hablar en español, pero voy a hablar en español como si fuera un gringo, alguien de Estados Unidos, que tiene un acento bastante pesado todavía. Entonces voy a hablar en español este rato de esta manera, ¿no es cierto? Así es como hablaría un gringo con un acento muy pesado. ¿Sí? Esta es y nothing. Nothing. Eso tiende a ser la pronunciación vocal del inglés, ¿no? Es un poquito ligeramente nasal, si ustedes lo notan, ¿no? ¿Sí? En cambio, ahora me voy a hacer un poquito más de esto. Hola, soy alguien de Estados Unidos. Soy un gringo que recién llegó a Cuenca. ¿Ok? Ahora, voy a hacer lo mismo. Voy a hacer lo mismo, pero como si fuera británico. ¿Ok? Hola, yo vengo de Inglaterra y estoy aprendiendo a hablar español. ¿Sí? Entonces,
I think that accent is more like when the British man talking English is more like some French talking English, like hello, my name is I don't know, Mateo. I like a cup of tea. I don't know, like they have something in his mouth and the paladar. They have something like hello, and
yeah,
this
that's
thing
right.
is very, 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 very.
Exactly. Yeah. For an American, exactly. That is a very good example. For an American, it's hello. For a British, it's hello, right? Hello, right? So there is something there in British English that it's a little bit different, right? So yeah, correct. Okay, so keep that in mind. So intonation is one thing. Now we're checking the R's, but don't forget the initial R. The initial R is the same pretty much in American English and British English, okay? So rain, same in American and British. Ready, the same, okay? Root, the same. Speaking about the initial R. Now, what happens when you have the R in the final position or near the final position? Let's check that out, okay? Okay, can you see the video?
Yes.
In a monosyllabic word and after a vowel, in British English, we tend to drop it. We also drop the letter R at the end of words in British English, whereas in American English, there is no difference. Now, I'd like you to listen to me say the following words and then listen to Rachel saying the same word immediately. Birth.
Birth.
Turn. Learn. Work.
Okay, let's do that again, okay?
Say the following words and then listen to Rachel saying the same word immediately. Birth.
Don't forget that she's British, okay?
Birth.
Turn.
Learn.
Okay, let's do something. How do you say learn in British English? Let me activate the audio. Okay, how do you say learn in British English?
Learn or something like
that. Exactly. For an American, it's learn. For a British, it's learn. So you have the R in the final position, but also very near the end. Before a consonant, the R is dropped. It's not pronounced. Do you get it? So for how do you say girar, dar la vuelta in English? Turn. That's right. Turn. Turn. That's American English, right? Turn. But how do you say that in British English?
Turn.
Yes, correct. Now, easier. In the final position, how do you say otro in English?
Another.
Yes, another. In American English, another or other, right? But how do you say it in British English?
Another.
Yes, exactly. Another. Yes. Exactly. Oh, here's another friend. That's right. Very good. How do you say aquí in American English?
Here.
And how do you say that in British English?
Here.
That's right. Like for example, if I say he's here, What am I saying? He's here.
He's here.
Ajá, exactly.
He's
Él
here.
está aquí, ¿no es cierto? That's right.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Now, I'm not telling you you have to speak in British English if you don't want to. Okay, you can continue with the accent that you have now. Obviously, continue improving your accent, though your pronunciation is good from what I hear. But you can continue speaking in American English if that's more comfortable for you. However, I want you to practice this because that helps you recognize the sounds. Because sometimes you will encounter British English, right? Do you see? For example, let's say you take an exam to get into a master's degree. Supongamos que tienen que dar un examen de ubicación de inglés para entrar a una maestría, ¿no es cierto? Let's suppose you have to do that. And the audios are in British English, okay? So that can be a little bit challenging, right? Un poco retador para ese caso, ¿no? So for example, now if I ask you, what's the meaning of car? What is the answer? What's the meaning of car?
Car. Carro.
Yes, correct. Now you know. Now you know. Okay? Let's continue here in the video.
Walk.
Work.
Germ.
Germ.
Farm.
Farm.
Other.
Other.
Clever.
Clever.
Director.
Director.
Right.
One little difference there as well, right?
Then let's move on to letter T. In standard British English, the letter T is always pronounced as a T. Whether it is at the beginning of a word, in the middle of a word, or at the end of a word.
So, can you hear me? So, as she said, now let's go with the R's, right? Well, first, don't forget, when with the R, if it is in the initial position, everybody pronounces it, whether it is an American or a British person. But in the final position, the British drop it. Okay, now let's go with the T. In the initial position, or in any position, if you're British, you're always going to mark the T. Okay, so for example, how do you say mesa in English?
Table.
Table.
How do you say sábado in English?
Saturday.
Yes, that's right. So if you're British, it's going to be Saturday. La T siempre está marcada sin importar la posición. O si una palabra también termina en T. How do you say cortar in English?
Put.
Yes, pronunciamos un poquito más hacia O. Entre O y A. Más hacia cut. Yes, that's right. So if you're British, you're going to pronounce the T like that. Cut. Oh, and light was made. But now, so keep that in mind. The British always pronounce the T like in a very defined way, no matter where it is in the word, okay? Beginning, middle, end, they always make it sound very clearly. But the Americans don't. So let's see what happens now. Listen to this again.
Let's move on to letter T. In standard British English, the letter T is always pronounced as a T. Whether it is at the beginning of a word, in the middle of a word, or at the end of a word. Whether it's a stressed syllable or unstressed syllable. For example, listen to these 4 words. Table, attain, what, cut. However, in American English, they tend to drop the T in the final position. So now listen to Rachel saying these 4 words.
Table. Attain. What. Cut.
Now listen to her saying the words what and cut again. What.
What.
Cut.
Cut.
All right. So Did you get that difference? Did you hear it?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, good. So, the other way around, al revés de lo que pasaba con la R. In British English, they always pronounce the T in a very listenable way, in a very audible way. But in American English, they tend to drop it at the end. So, for example, how do you say que in British English?
What?
What? At the end, right? La T suena mucho. But how do you say que in American English?
What?
What? Es prácticamente como que terminamos con la lengua puesta como para decir la T, ¿no es cierto? What. Piensen cuando dicen what, ¿dónde ponen la lengua para hacer sonar la T? Tongues. Yes, correct, right? It's like you put it there, but you don't make it sound very much. Se le ponen ahí, pero no le hacen sonar prácticamente, ¿no? What. Es como que el sonido se ahoga al final. En inglés de Estados Unidos. In American English, this happens, right? But in British English, the T is always pronounced. So if the T is in the beginning, Americans and British pronounce it. Like, for example, how do you say mesa in English? Table, that's right. It doesn't matter if you're American or British, the sound is going to be very similar. Table. How do you say herramienta in English? Do you know that? Tool. Yes. T-O-O-L, right? Tool. If you're American, tool. If you're British, tool. Almost the same, right? La T igual está sonando porque está al comienzo, pero en las palabras en las que la T está al final. Una vez más, how do you say que in British English?
What?
How do you say que in American English?
What?
Yes, what. Prácticamente no suena, ¿no? How do you say cortar in British English?
Cut.
Cut. Right? Cut. How do you say cortar in American English?
Cut.
Cut. Es como que la T se corta al final, ¿no? Justo en cortar, pero la T se corta al final, ¿no? Cut. Now, I'm going to pronounce some words, and you tell me if I'm saying them in American English or in British English, okay? You say American or British, okay? Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. For example, car.
American.
Yes, correct. American, that's right. What?
British.
Yes, that was British. What? Because I'm making the T sound a lot, right? Now, cut.
American.
British.
American. No.
One more time. Cut.
American.
Yes, because it didn't sound very much. But if I say cut.
British.
Yes, that is British. Correct. Very good. So that is one of the main differences, okay? Now, let's continue watching the video a little bit, all right?
Now, in American English, when the letter T is in the middle position in a word, it sometimes changes to a soft D. This happens either when it's between two vowels or when it's between an R and a vowel. So now listen to how I pronounce the following words and immediately to how Rachel pronounces them. Saturday. Waiter. Matter. Atta. What about? Party. Sort of. Part of. And finally, in American English, the letter T is sometimes dropped.
All right. Now, as we saw, again, in British English, the T is always very marked, but sometimes when you have a T in American English that it is in the middle of vowels, está en medio de vocales, we tend to do this little phenomena that is like this. For example, I'm going to say the same word and you tell me if it is British English or American English. Or first, I'm going to say it in British English first and then in American English, okay? Saturday, that is British, okay? Saturday. And now American, Saturday, Saturday. How do you say? Yes,
Saturday.
correct. So, a British Saturday, American Saturday. Okay, good. Now, how do you say 20 in English?
20.
20.
Yes. Some of you said 20, some of you said 20, right?
20.
Exactly. What do you think 20 is? American English or British English? 20.
American.
20 is American. 20 is American. And how do you think the British pronounce that?
20.
20. That's right. Correct. So the British always mark it, right? A veces en inglés de Estados Unidos, con mucha frecuencia pasa esto, ¿no? Cuando tengo T's intermedias, también tienden a suavizarse. Sobre todo cuando van entre vocales, ¿no? Noten, no, si es que soy de Estados Unidos, no Saturday, sino Saturday. Saturday. ¿Le cogen? ¿Sí? Saturday. Ok. Por ejemplo, cataclismo, se me ocurre. For a British person, it would be cataclysm. Cataclysm. For an American person, it's cataclysm. Cataclysm. Es como que estoy diciendo cara. Notan como decir en español face, cara. Cataclysm. La T del inglés, pero en inglés de Estados Unidos, cuando está entre vocales, tiende a sonar como la R del español. No la R o la R, si estamos en Cuenca, ¿sí? Sino la R. ¿Comprenden? Entonces, una vez más, noten cómo dirían sábado en inglés de Estados Unidos. Háganle sonar como la R del español, no la R del inglés, sino la R del español. Háganle sonar así a esa T.
Saturday.
Exactly. Perfect. Saturday. That's right. That's American English.
Okay.
But if it's British English, digamos una vez más en inglés británico.
Saturday.
Perfect. Correct. Very good. Okay, as I told you before, it's not that you have to speak that way, but it's good for you to practice this, because when you hear something in British English, now it's going to be easier for you to understand. Of course, that this is not all, right? Por supuesto, esto no basta con saber estas diferencias para entender y ya facilito el inglés británico si es que lo escuchamos. You need practice, right? You need to listen to a lot of that as well, but this is good. This is good. This is a good beginning, right? For you to notice the differences. Probably some of you already knew this, but perhaps many of you didn't. Okay, let's continue.
After an N. For example,
This is another
and
difference.
finally, in American English, the letter T is sometimes dropped after an N. For example, in British English, we would say center, interview, internet. Now listen to how Rachel pronounces them.
Center, interview, internet.
Center,
Center,
interview,
interview,
internet.
internet.
Okay, that's all for the consonants R and T.
So as you can see, you also have that difference, right? If the letter T comes after a consonant, usually the N, it doesn't make a sound. So for a British person, it always makes a sound. For a British person, it is internet, right? Internet. But for an American person, it is, I'm sorry, for an American person, it is, for a British person, it is internet. But for an American person, internet. No sonó la T, no, notan internet. Exactly, that's right. Centro. For a British person, center. Center. La T está sonando un montón. But for an American person, center. Center. That's right. Very good. Now, how do you say entrevista in English?
Interview.
Yes, exactly. And if you say interview, what is that? American English or British English? Interview.
British.
British. That's right. Very good. And how do you say that in American English?
Interview.
Excellent. Interview. Very good. Yes. Very good. Okay. And now, just to finish with some other differences, let's continue watching the video, okay?
Teacher.
We're about to finish. Ya mismo terminamos. All right.
Now we're going to look at some very common words in English that are pronounced quite differently in British English and American English. So I'm going to say them, and then you will listen to how Rachel says them. The letter Z.
The letter Z.
New.
New.
Adult.
Adult.
Brochure.
Brochure.
Garage.
Garage.
Address.
Address.
Laboratory.
Address.
Laboratory.
Route.
Route.
Advertisement.
Advertisement.
Controversy.
Controversy.
Patent.
Patent.
Apricot.
Apricot.
Vase.
Vase.
Hurricane.
Hurricane.
Enquiry.
Inquiry.
Leisure.
Leisure.
Either.
Either.
Neither.
Neither.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this part of the lesson. To continue this lesson.
All right. Very good. Very good. So those were, of course, you have the peculiar words that have different pronunciations. And there is one more thing that I didn't have time to explain today. That is that we also have some things that are said completely different in American English and in British English, right? And that is just like in Spanish. Aparte de que hay palabras que se escriben igual pero se pronuncian distinto como las que vimos en el video, pues también hay algunas palabras que son otra cosa completamente. Por ejemplo, ¿cómo dicen en México canguil?
Palomitas, creo, o algo así.
Sí, exactamente. Entonces, así mismo tenemos, ¿sabían que en Perú al aguacate no le dicen aguacate? ¿Quién sabe cómo le dicen?
Falta.
Exacto. So we have the same things, or not those in particular, but similar examples in American English and British English. For example, in American English, how do you say ascensor? That is elevator. Elevator. But in British English, it is lift. L-I-F-T. In American English, what is the meaning of truck? Truck.
Camion? Trunk?
Camion, that's right. But in British English, it's not truck, it's lorry. How do you say departamento where you live in American English?
Apartment.
Apartment. But in British English, it is flat. Flat. Yes, como plano. F-L-A-T.
Sure. But the taxis, when English is taxis and in British is cab.
Well, like, actually, the Americans also call them cabs in some parts. But yeah, it's an example. It's an example. That's right. That's right. Thank you. So that is the thing. That is the thing. We have many differences between American English and British English, but anyway, we have more similarities than differences. That is the good news, right? So keep that in mind. So, well, it's 2 o'clock, so I'm not going to keep you here anymore. Just one thing. I'm going to send you this video that we just saw so that you can see it a little bit more, watch it a little bit more. I'm also going to send you a file with some different words in both languages so you can have that as reference. And there is going to be a homework, okay? There's going to be a homework for next week. Is that okay?
It's okay.
Yes.
All right, so in this homework, this is what we're gonna do. I'm going to send you some recordings via WhatsApp. I'm also going to send you the texts, and you have to try to repeat the things imitating me as much as possible, right? Entonces les mando yo los audios, les mando los textos también para que puedan leer con más facilidad por WhatsApp, y ustedes tienen que mandarme grabaciones, no al grupo, sino individualmente. Yo los audios les mando al grupo, por supuesto, pero individualmente ustedes me mandan las grabaciones tratando de pegarse lo más posible a la pronunciación que yo haga, y también no se olviden a la fluidez, refiriéndome a velocidad y a no hacer muchas pausas entre palabras, ¿no es cierto? Porque en eso solemos fallar. Por más que la pronunciación sea buena, a veces lo decimos muy lento. Entonces, justo quiero que practiquen decirlo a la velocidad natural, a la velocidad correcta. All right. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm going to send you more details about the homework via the WhatsApp group, and see you next class.
Okay. Thanks, teacher.
Bye,
Teacher, bye.
Teacher.
See you. Thank you very much for your attention. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, teacher.
Goodbye. Goodbye. If you have questions, you can write me, okay? Goodbye, everybody.
Okay. Bye.
Goodbye. See you.